back with another episode of The Couch. And today I found myself joined by a very special guest. 4-time relationship author, poet, influencer, and now mother of 2. The one and only Maui. So, I don't want y'all to go nowhere because this is a special episode that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be a dope conversation. Check us out on The Wolf Has Spoken. What's going on with The Wolf? And we back with another one of Wolf's books. And this week, the book that we're going to be talking about is very special, not only to me, but to the person that's actually joining us, because it's written by none other than Maui_W. Now, the book that we're talking about this week is going to be called So Much to Unlearn. I'm currently still in the process of reading the book, but I'm in love with what I read so far. I think it's great to start the discussion of what we need to do to become better within ourselves, and how we need to revisit some of the things that made us the way we are so that we don't carry those things into our new relationship. But not even just relationships with our spouse, relationships with people, because there's so many things that we've learned that just has us, from our experiences, that just has us starting behind the 8 ball with our perspective on the world. So checking out this book, So Much to Unlearn, actually challenges you to unlearn the things that you thought you knew and challenge yourself to enhance your perspective with some new information. So check it out. Like I said, I'm currently still reading it. I didn't get all the way to the end, but just based off what I read, it was so insightful. And she's a dope author, and I just think that it's an easy read, it's a quick read. I think that y'all can breeze right through it, and it'll just enhance your mindset and enhance your perspective. So it's definitely something I want y'all to check out. It's written by Maui. Like I said, she'll be joining us later. So yeah, that's the book for the week. So Much to Unlearn. The Wolf Has Spoken. Go check it out.
Hey.
Oh man, this was highly anticipated. So, we find ourselves joined by the one and only Maui.
Hey.
4-time relationship author.
Yes.
Influencer.
Okay.
Poet.
All right.
Mother of 2.
And a dog.
And a dog, so mother of 3.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm honored to have you, Maui.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, before we started, I asked Maui to do me a favor. She told me that no.
I said that you're pushing me.
Oh, excuse me, I'm just quoting. She told me I was pushing it, so she's staying on business. Nah, but on the couch, we like to have like discussions and conversations. So like I always tell people from the rip, I don't want to make it too much of an interview. We already got like a great relationship. We friends, so we laugh, we joke, we build all the time. But I definitely want to make this a conversation that people will take something from. So first of all, I want to start with, like, I do have some questions for you. So how do you manage everything you do?
Well, it's a great question because us mothers are underestimated for all the things that we do sometimes. So for one, my partner helps me with a lot of things. That's for one.
Okay.
And I'm okay with saying no to certain things. I'm at a place in my life where I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and the order that it's in is just me, my kids, my family, working out, and relaxing, okay? Anything outside of that, I don't overwhelm myself with trying to spread myself too thin or trying to keep promises if I can't.
Right.
I'm making sure that I'm showing up for myself emotionally, so if I decide to do anything extra outside of my daily routines, that I'm able to show up and give 100% and I'm in a good mood.
Question. So I feel like the way you're speaking as if like you feel like you grew to this. So like how were you before? Do you feel like you wasn't?
Like, I didn't have boundaries. I didn't want to say no. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. I would just...
And now you're like, fuck that shit.
Yes. I can do 10 poetry shows this week. And it's like, no, I'm not doing poetry for the next couple months because I don't want to.
No, that makes sense. So I know that you sell books, you sell merch. What do you sell on waist trainers and everything?
Boy, I ain't had no waist trainers. I have no waist trainers.
You wasn't selling waist trainers?
No.
Disregard that. No. But no, all jokes aside though, I like to call you like a mompreneur.
Right.
So like, how has that been? Because like you running a full-time business while being a mother of 2 and a dog. And a newly mother of 2.
So, yes, my baby just turned 2 months the other day. So, before having my baby, I would drop my orders off to the post office every day, every other day.
Yeah.
Drop off day is Friday now, and that's the day that's easiest for me. I changed my whole...
Your whole operation.
The whole operation is a little bit different now. Now, when you go on my website, it's half of the things that it was before.
Gotcha.
So that I know if you ordering something, I know what you order.
Yeah.
I'm not about to be sitting here packing an order that got 10 different things.
Right.
I'm not overwhelming myself in no kind of way.
Right. No, I'm still listening.
No, I was about to say, because it's somebody that's up all night waking me up, and then somebody I got to take to school in the morning and pick up from school. So I definitely changed the whole order of operations.
So would you say, because now I'm gonna just stay in the realm of like being a mom of a newborn, would you say like that this process was more of a process than having your first child?
So it's crazy because had my first child was younger.
Yeah.
As an adult, and I can understand why people wait. Anything that's inconveniencing me, I can, like when I first had my baby, like I had hired a cook.
Yeah.
Like we had somebody to clean.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do those things.
Rich girl stuff.
No, but it's like, it was no need for me to ever spread myself thin.
Right.
Because it's easier as an adult.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was trying to go to college. I was working at Walmart for $8, trying to catch the bus to get there, trying to get on the bus to take him to daycare. Like it was harder with my son. This is just way smoother. So that's why they say take a village, though. I have way more of a village.
100%. And all right, boom, because that brings me to my next question, right? So, what would you say was different about your thought process with, choosing, your first child father versus your second child father?
So, that's in my business. I like them kind of questions.
If it's too much, though,
no, it's not. But when you younger. Like I didn't know who I was then. Like,
oh my gosh.
I'm just younger, and we have our own ideas of what we think love is.
Fact.
So that's why we're in these relationships, because this is my idea of love. This is what I think it is. And then my son is about to be 9, so this 9 year, like I've grew so much as a person.
Yeah.
Like the things that I liked back then, what I was attracted to, what I felt like it was love, like all these different things are completely different. And now, like if I'm deciding like I want to have another kid. What this person brings to the table, do they have qualities of like being a good father figure?
Yeah. Oh my God, that right there is such an important even question to ask yourself, because I feel like so many people skip that.
Right.
Is this person fit to be a parent?
Right. So it's not even about like if I'm dating, it's not even about how you treat me, because anybody won't treat me good, because that's a standard I set for myself.
Right.
What kind of parent would you be?
100%.
What kind of parent are you to the kids that you have right now?
100%.
Because we see a lot of guys, they treat women wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't treat their kids the same way.
And that's crazy that I want to comment, and it's like, I don't understand how a man, being a man, I'm a dad, how that concept is not grasped, that like, it does not roll over. So like the love you give to your girl is her love. The love you have to give to your kids is their love.
Right.
For one, they should run parallel. They should never like intersect at all. But at the same time, in doing so, you should never be giving love over here and not giving love over there. I never understood that.
So I feel like some people just feel like I need the romantic love.
Yeah.
But children bring you such a fulfilling love. Like I tell, right next to poetry and doing what I do, me being a parent, I could pop up about 5 more kids if I wanted to.
Yeah.
This is so fulfilling to me, and like really my purpose, that I don't understand like how you can be just laying up with somebody every night knowing that you ain't call your kid all week.
Yeah, that's
like knowing that you don't see your kids.
So when you say your purpose, you're talking about being a mom, in a sense. No, I think that's good that you speak to that, because that was another one of the questions that I wanted to ask too, as far as in like tying in your purpose to, because I feel like with women, and this is just a perspective, I feel like once you have a child, you almost got to be selfless.
Right.
And I feel like not a lot of women think about that before they have a child, and then they have a child, and then they have these different resentment things. Right. Or feeling like, they got to sacrifice. But you saying that your purpose is not even a sacrifice. It's like, no, this is what I want to do.
Right. If I can't do something because I'm not feeling like, I can't do nothing because now I had this baby.
Yeah.
No, I'm exactly where I want to be. Like the things that I do with my kids, the things I do for my children, is not because I'm mom and this is my responsibility. Yeah. I'm doing what I want to do. I love doing it. No, so it's never making me feel like, I could have been a doctor, but then I had 2 kids. Yeah. No, I would still be a doctor. We would have figured it out, but I love being a mom.
I wanted to ask that, but you had spoke to being a different person 9 years ago, right? So it made me think, because you're a full-time author, right? So like, just on the titles alone, now I've read a lot of your first book and some of your second book, because when you released them, I remember you was like trying to send it to me, like, read my book before you published it. You sent me like the PDF,
right.
And I wasn't really, it's crazy how I wasn't even reading books at the time.
Right.
But I
still wasn't a book reader.
I wasn't a book reader, right. But you was on me like, yo, nah, you gotta read it. So I was like, all right, so I read majority of that, and I read some of the second one. But with this one, so much to unlearn, would you say that looking back on those books, you can see like who you were and now who you are?
Yeah, so many people love my older books. And
they raw.
Yeah, they raw and stuff like that, but even though I cringe like reading it, like with the poems with all the curse words and how I was feeling in those moments. I know that for some people who love them, I'm meeting them where they at emotionally.
100%.
And I know that with this book, whereas though some people may not like it,
right.
But even when I dropped the cheat code, which I was afraid to drop because I didn't feel like people
that was clever,
understand it. Yeah,
no, it was clever.
But it was different than what they were used to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if it doesn't do as good because I'm not meeting people where they're at? I'm writing the way I like to write. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how much I grew as a writer compared to
the first couple of books.
To the first 2 books.
You just spoke about meeting people where they at. So I think that that ties into emotional intelligence.
Right.
So that's what I want to tap into. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence.
Okay.
All right, so we see y'all back soon. We back. So before we cut to a commercial, we was talking about emotional intelligence.
Right.
So how important would you say that is in each individual before we even get into a relationship, just as a person?
So I feel like it's so important for not even relationships, but how you communicate with certain people.
Yeah.
Your friendships.
Yeah.
How you parent your children.
Yeah.
You even the way you communicate. If you're in college, the way you communicate to your professor.
Yeah.
Understanding that understanding different people's feelings and I can communicate with people in different ways. I can change my tone.
Yeah.
I know that I gotta deliver certain things a different way for certain people.
Right. Approaches everything.
Right. And then a little bit harder for other people. They're perfectly fine with it, but everybody's not getting the same delivery from me.
So listen, when you going now, still tying into your journey as an author, and your first stint, like would you say that your emotional intelligence was different than it is now, and like how did you even grow? For somebody out there that might want to know how to grow emotionally.
So one, I feel like outside of the fact I was in school for psychology and stuff, and when I would grow up and I would get on punishment, my mom would make me read self-help books.
Yeah.
So it's just naturally.
So you think you like I already was on it.
I feel like I'm reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People when I'm like 11.
Yeah.
Like, as punishment. This is not a bad punishment. I'm reading the book, I'm like, this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, but looking back, as far as like the way I do it in my relationships, I can see how much it's changed. Because when you're in a relationship with somebody and somebody upsetting you or they overwhelming you or you in love, all of that, let me be considerate to his feelings and emotions, that's going out the window, okay? You're not really thinking about that because my feelings are hurt right now.
Yeah, I agree, and it's like it's crazy because like that's where I think the true test be coming in at with your emotional intelligence, because what I have seen a psychologist say, and I feel like we well, definitely within our community, we horrible with like our conflict resolution or even expressing our emotions, right? And she was saying that we often we express ourselves other than what we really feel. So we express disappointment and anger.
Right.
Sadness and anger. Like somebody might, stand you up and you might be disappointed, but instead of just saying like, you disappointed me, you get mad and you curse them out. And like when she said that, it made me start to really be, conscious of like how I would react in those situations. Because I'm like, what am I really feeling? Mm-hmm. Like, you gotta ask yourself that, like, am I mad or am I upset? Am I disappointed? Am I sad? Before I express myself, let me feel how I'm feeling. And I think that helped me with my emotional intelligence. Because to your point, when I was younger, in my younger relationships, none of that really mattered. It was just about, I guess, winning in a sense. Like, I feel this way. I want you to see how I feel. I really don't care what that.
See, I'm angry.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Angry too now.
I gotta bring you in this wild, but like now I don't even got the. I feel like that's energy.
Right.
I don't got the energy for that.
I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way that you felt, but like what you said, we're having these two different emotions. One is requiring you to be vulnerable, which people don't realize takes way more strength than being upset and angry.
100%.
Whereas though the anger is more so.
It's easy.
It's easy, but you feel like you have to protect yourself, because somebody hurt you.
So you think it's a defense mechanism?
Right. You feel like that's the same way when people say, "Oh, I want my girl to do this and be more softer and feminine or submissive." She can't do that and thrive in her true femininity when she has to protect herself in her home.
So if she feel like she gotta, because where is this sense of not being secure why does she feel like she gotta protect herself? Where does that come from? What
did you do? What did you do to make me feel this way?
So all right, that's a good thing. That's crazy you said that, right? Because I was on the phone last night, right, with a girl that I used to date, and she said something to me, and I was like, "You shut me down." And she was like, "Well, I didn't put a gun in your head." And I had to explain to her. I said, "No, you shutting me down ain't about if I have a choice to leave or not, because I left."
Right.
Shutting me down is me no longer feeling comfortable enough to talk to you openly because of your response or your reaction.
Right.
So would you say that's like the same thing?
That's the same thing. Whereas though it could be something that's really bothering you,
Yeah.
and you would want to talk to her about it, but you don't even feel like hearing where she's going to take it. If she's going to take it far to the left, or she's going to blow it out of proportion, or she's not even going to listen to you before you even get a chance to. That's the same thing of you feeling like you got to protect yourself in your home of voicing your opinion, because then you walking on eggshells.
And I want the men that's out here listening to, like, if you want people, not even just the men, if you want your partner to be willing to listen to you, you got to be willing to listen to them. I feel like everybody want to be heard, but nobody want to listen, and it's like it's affecting it because communication really is the only problem in understanding in relationships. Literally, I can't. Like we got 5 books in total, and I'm working on my second, which will give us 6 in total. You probably working on your 5th, and you tell me a more common solution than all of your books.
It's communication.
It's really communication.
Like,
there's no
like what you said, people don't want to listen.
Yeah.
So even if like you're not happy, and you went out and cheated, you could have communicated you weren't happy.
Yeah.
If you feel like your partner just didn't listen and she was shutting you up, I could have communicated.
That's how. Yeah.
Right, but we gotta be able to communicate properly.
But when you spoke to vulnerability being a strength, like that's a golden tool because people don't understand. Like it's easy to deflect and avoid and to not and repress your emotions and not. That's easy.
Right.
The hard part is saying like I gotta acknowledge. First of all, I gotta become aware of how I feel. I gotta acknowledge it, accept it, and then be comfortable enough to tell you no matter what you're gonna say in return. And most people don't make it past the first step.
Right.
They don't even become aware of it. And if they make it past the first step, they don't want to accept it.
They don't want to accept it. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to be honest with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, even with what you saying, with us being vulnerable, and that's why it's so important for us to spend time alone. When there's nobody to blame, you gotta
take accountability.
You gotta take accountability.
100%.
But we think so highly of ourselves that we can't be honest sometimes, or we can't believe. It's so easy to point the finger and blame somebody else. When you know what, I could have communicated better, and I could have did things differently. I could have been more softer with him. Like I could have listened more. I could have catered to his needs. Yeah. No, he fucked up, and he shouldn't have did this. Like.
But that's why, like for me, right? I think like after my first relationship, self-reflection has become like my lifestyle.
Right.
So like I'm always looking for ways to improve. Like and I want to do the work. So it's like if I'm ever in a situation, the first thing that ever comes to my mind is what could I have did better?
Right.
Like if me and you have a disagreement, like just as friends, like we like, all right, damn, I kind of approached that wrong with Maui. I was a little aggressive, or I was like talking loud, or I wasn't hearing what she was saying, and like that has became my method, and then standing on it. So it's like coming back and actually fixing that, and I feel like I want to challenge anybody that's out there to be able to do that because it's like. That's how we create those healthy spaces for people to feel safe.
Right.
Because like I would hate for any women out here to feel like they can't open it. How y'all supposed to be partners and you can't open up to your partner?
And it's like what you just said though. You said I want to do the work.
Yeah, I want to.
Like you want to be accountable. You want to grow. But there's so many people that are getting to their place in their life and they growing. And they want to do the work and they being accountable.
And then they
meet somebody in a relationship with somebody. They don't think there's nothing wrong with what they do, and they don't want to do the work. Yeah. So you're coming back from therapy, talking about what you learned and how accountable you are, and you're trying to communicate properly for the first time. Yeah. And it's like you talking to a wall because they don't think there's nothing wrong with them.
And do you ever hear like I often get told like because they kind of feel like you're almost talking down to them when you're trying to big them up. Like how does that make you feel? And that you being you, because like you psychologically in tune.
Right. So for one of my favorite ways to communicate with somebody to get what I need them to hear or whatever. Now, I always approach it with a compliment. Okay.
Now just feed me.
My compliment won't be a lie. But you feel safer now. You don't feel attacked. You don't feel like I'm trying to tell you what to do. Yeah. Like even if people always complain about like me and my man don't do nothing romantic, and I came in the house and said we don't do shit together, and you don't take me nowhere. I can come in the house and say, you know what, babe, I've been loving our Netflix and chill nights, but I think that it's time we switch it up. Maybe we could do something this weekend.
That's fine.
You don't feel attacked. You don't feel like I'm talking down on you, but I'm still getting what I want.
It's like, because verbiage is everything, right? And I always tell people, like, so many negative connotation statements can be flipped. Like, even if you say, Instead, like how you just said, like instead of coming in and saying what somebody not doing, you're going to tell them what's been being done, which is acknowledging, like, okay, I see your effort, but let's improve her, let's be better, let's take it to that next level.
Let's do something different.
Versus shooting it down at where it's at. Like, I don't want to be Netflix and chilling. I'm tired of being in this house. I want to, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I think that's.
And at that point, I don't want to do nothing with you.
Yeah, because now I'm frustrated. And people, we gotta normalize, and I hate the word normalize. I'm using it, but we gotta make it more of a trend. I do not like that word. We gotta make it more of a trend to take a step back, because like. People gotta start responding and stop reacting. Right. So when we talking about emotional intelligence, it's about realizing, like, you gotta realize where you're responding from.
Right.
So if you instantly respond, that's not a response, that's a reaction.
Right.
Like, if I jump at you and you flinch, that's a reaction, that's not a response. You follow what I'm saying? But and of course, most people will flinch because it's reflexes, but if we're talking about, I said something that might offend you, if you know what you're about to say could potentially be, cutting like a sword, give it time.
Right.
Revisit that conversation. And that was something I had to learn. Like, I remember, like, I used to want to, because I'm so quick on my feet, I want to talk now. And I'm like, dang, everybody can't process stuff as fast as I can. So getting more and more emotionally intelligent and meeting them where they at is like, all right, maybe this person needs time. Maybe I need more time. Maybe I need to pray on this before I respond, because if I respond from where I'm at now, it might not be the best response. So that's what I want to challenge people to do. Be okay with taking a break. But we're going to take another quick commercial break, and then we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to step into the realm of open discussion. So I got some things that I want to discuss when we come back. So we see y'all back soon. All right. So before we cut to a break, I said we was going to go into open discussion. So in open discussion, it becomes way more conversational. Like, I will ask you things, you ask me things, and this is for the people that enjoy us having an open dialogue.
Okay.
But my first question is, how was it, because like, all right, I'm a relationship author as well. So how was it dating as a relationship author? Like, what was that process like? So,
for one, the difference from now and then is I had to make sure when I'm dating the way I give advice for people to date.
You felt accountable.
I felt accountable, and I felt like it was my duty and responsibility to live up to the advice that I give everybody else.
Don't that feel like an extra sense of pressure? Like, I can't get it wrong.
I'm like, now I understand when they say Maui is not as easy as it looks. I'm like, interesting. They might be right. So when I'm doing it properly, and I'm like, okay, this person, like, I see the red flags. I don't want to talk to them no more. This is when I go on another date with them. Yeah. I'm like, but I did like them. I wanted to see where
right.
So it is a little bit of an added pressure, like you said.
It's like for me personally, I felt like people like, let me see who he picked, because I want to make sure, as far as in practice of what I preach, I would struggle with that. Right. But they looking at the partner I picked on, let me make sure she up to the par and the standard. And I felt like for me it was also challenging, because even when I just wanted to have fun with women, they all look at me like they potential husband.
Right.
So it's like every situation I go into, their intentions is serious.
I was about to say that. Do you feel like it's hard for you to even casually date because they think like, oh, he's going to be in a relationship?
And I'm like, like, no, I think that I'd be like, nah, like I'm still a man. Like, everything ain't. Of course, I'm intentional, but it's like, I'm not just going into the situation. I'm not just going to date anybody just for nothing. But everything ain't serious. Some shit is just for a good time, or it just might be for the moment.
Right.
It don't gotta last forever.
Right.
But forever will be when we get there. But I feel like every single woman I meet, that's their approach with me.
That's just like, they wouldn't expect you to just anything casual. But I tell women all the time, just like we dating somebody, he's dating us.
Yeah.
So you just may not want to be serious with me. I may not be a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, he's supposed to be this relationship guru and he only went on one date with me. No, he got to know me and he didn't like me.
And I'm like, it's for the experience. Like, that's my whole thing, providing the vibe for experience. Like, until, because of course, like, once I like somebody, then for sure, like, you want to be more and more intentional. But my first intention is always for the experience. Like, let me get to know you. Let me see how we vibe. We might not even like each other. I can't be feeling like I'm going to come into this situation, like, from the rip. Okay, I'm being one-track minded. I'm open. Like, you take me here, all right, cool. Yeah, all right, cool, that's what we on. But most of the time, I just feel like I can meet a chick in an environment that, why you thought we was about to be together?
Right, okay.
And y'all still thinking, you still got it in your head that we about to be together.
Right. I get it. I get it. I do feel like the pressure is...
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Do you feel like you had to get it right?
100%. Do you feel like the people on your social media is like overly invested to who you gonna pop out with as your partner.
100%, 150%.
We want to see. Let's see what
Yeah.
a good quality partner looks like to him.
Are you them people too? Like you want to see too?
I'd be like in a close friends, like, who is this on the date?
Ah.
Like, oh, she looks nice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. The close friends get a little bit more than the regular story for sure.
I'm like,
for sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I would be. Yeah, I might be one of them. Like, I wonder what he would pop out with.
But the crazy thing is, I'm removing that pressure because like I feel like we get that grace. Like we know a little more, so we can't make you can't make the dumb mistakes.
Right.
But we human, and it's like people can present themselves in a way, and we might think that might be our person, and then we might deal with them for an amount of time and realize we allowed to pull back. We don't gotta force ourselves to stay in situations because society might feel like you was only in a relationship for 3 months. Why should I? You know what I'm saying?
Why should I take advice from you or whatever? But I learned something in my 3 months.
You get what I'm saying though?
I learned something in 3 months.
And the crazy thing is though, we learn something. It don't take, especially, I mean, I can speak to us even being like relationship partners, being people that study psychology. It don't take long for us to learn something. So like everything is just a learning experience. I feel like I'm not allowing nobody to corner me into that. But I definitely wanted to know that because I know for me it was definitely a challenge because I felt like either women get intimidated by me, how smart I am, and they can't run a movie on me, or they want me to be their husband.
Right.
So I wanted to know if men was intimidated by you or like, you know what I'm saying?
So I definitely feel like what you said with it being intimidated because they can't run what they running on
Other people. Yeah, they respect your hand.
Then I'm seeing certain red flags. Like I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. Like if this person is super aggressive and super angry, I'm imagining them doing homework with their kid.
Yeah.
Like I can't have a child with him.
Right.
Tell me that freaking apples.
Right.
Like, and he's like just too aggressive. He's snapping. Like he don't handle his emotions well. Like I'm thinking 25 steps ahead. I don't gotta be in certain situations.
That's
to be learning
and that's the key right there. I think that's what our experience gives us. It's give us that discerning ability to spot things quick, but not from fear.
Right.
Most people spot red flags out of fear. I've seen that before, but that don't mean it's gonna end the same.
Right.
For us, it's like, nah, like I'm conscious enough to see like these are character flaws.
Right.
These are character traits that just not aligned with who I am or what I'm trying to.
Right.
So it's like I don't have to take 9 months, 2 years, 5 years to figure this out, and I'm not afraid to start over.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people stay in relationships out of pure fear. They don't want to leave.
I'm not afraid to start over. This is my 5th life, and I will keep doing it over and over.
I love that. I love that.
I'm not afraid at all.
So listen, all said, I told you I was gonna bring this up. So I want your perspective on princess treatment.
So it's when you said that, I'm always seeing on Instagram like princess treatment or leave me alone.
Yeah.
But you don't be leaving, like you be saying and accepting what he be giving. So I feel like if you are expecting princess treatment and this is how you expect your partner to treat you, because I feel like if you're coming from a place of entitlement on social media,
Yeah, for sure.
if you're treating your man good, I can understand the princess treatment or leave me alone because of what you are giving.
Right.
Like if I'm receiving flowers, it's like, yes, I appreciate you, thank you, but of course you're bringing me flowers.
Right.
Like look how well I treat you.
Right.
So princess treatment or leave me alone because what I do and bring to the table and how easy I make your life.
Can I elevate that? So to your point, right? I started to say, because I started to dissect this princess treatment, right? I just was like super on my thoughts one day. I'm like, I don't think women should want to be treated like princesses. I think y'all should be treated like queens. Because like I would treat my daughter like a princess, and most of that princess treatment talk I think come from daddy-daughter relationships that was either there or lacking. So like I want to be treated like a princess, but it's like nah, princess not my equal. That's just me taking care of another liability. My queen is something that comes with respect and gets these same treatments. So that's just something that I wanted to.
No, I get where you're going with this.
But and I was gonna say that like even to the princess treatment narrative, it's like it's almost like I want to be catered to, and I want you to kiss the ground I walk on while I just do nothing.
Right.
Where the queen understands her role and her duty to this king and serving him and why he's actually serving her.
Right. So my rebuttal for that is going to be, for one, I'm not going to take it as far as the daddy issues and stuff, but I can understand with the princess treatment, the same way how women be like, I love a forehead kiss. A lot of being spoiled, being taken care of, and a queen would want those things. But look at the age group of who's saying this. Like older women.
I've seen some older women saying it too.
And that don't mean that they old where they need to be. Right. But queens definitely sounds like more of an equal, more responsibility, more of watching his back and taking care of my partner.
And just speaking for the men, right? And I rarely ever just speak from and for the men, but I feel like I've learned that a lot of women expect XYZ, right?
Right.
And they be entitled to XYZ, but don't understand that you have to give ABC to get XYZ. Like I had a girl say, yeah, well, you know, you do these things for me, like it's not like really like shock moment because like my father has already told me, because a guy that heard that already told me like this is how I should be. So it's more like like this is what a man's supposed to do. I said a man's supposed to do a lot, they ain't doing it. A man should still be appreciated for what he do.
Right.
And did your father tell you that this is what a man expects in return to continue to do these things?
Right.
Because I'm doing what I'm gonna do because I'm a man, but you think I just this free lunch, you think I don't want nothing.
Right.
And like sometimes some head or some sex ain't gonna be enough. Like
Right.
I just want back rub, you know what I'm saying? So I said that, and I'm just speaking for the men out here who may be doing that, and I know that they running into a lot of XYZ women who aren't giving ABC.
Right.
So where does that? So now I'm turning it into a question. What would you tell to them women? Because you in a relationship, you in a situation where you're serving. You spoke to that at the beginning. So how can you advise them to be able to play their role, how you play your role in your situation to make it work?
So for one, like we in a generation of entitlement. Like everybody entitled. The men, the women, everybody just feel like as you should.
Yeah.
Like nobody's operating from a place of gratitude. Like
Yeah.
even if you treat me this way, even if it's because you're a man, I appreciate you because you don't have to. I done met 10
That's
people
all I'm
that
saying.
don't do this.
That's the point, yes.
So I
yes.
never want my partner to feel like they're unappreciated or it's expected.
Right.
So one thing I tell people all the time when they be like, well, my standards ain't high, I would never ask somebody for anything that I wouldn't be willing to do in return.
100%.
So making sure that you meet the standards of your expectations for others.
Yeah.
So my standards aren't high because I'm willing to do what I'm asking you to.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm not.
That's what makes it a standard, not an expectation.
Right.
It's like this is just who I am.
Right.
So,
I know that I'm going to be loving you at this capacity, so I would appreciate you reciprocating in return.
Or to your point, I would say like just like I don't have to take less. Like it's not like well, if you can meet me there, then you come here. But if you can't, then understand why it's not working.
Right.
Don't try to bring me down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Especially if I don't treat me like that.
Yeah. 100%.
Like I don't want nobody loving or treating me less than I treat myself.
And you should. And I think that that's the difference between a standard and an expectation.
Right.
A standard is who you are.
Right.
An expectation is who you want somebody else to be. So it's like what you just said. You already love yourself. So if somebody not loving you, you're going to notice like, wait, this doesn't feel how. But the expectation is, I don't even know what love looks like, but
Right.
I expect you to show me.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying though?
But that's a lot of people. A lot of people don't spend enough time by themselves to figure out what the love for themselves is like.
100%.
So then when you giving me your expectations, you really freestyling. You don't actually even know what makes you happy.
Exactly. You're showing up to a restaurant with no clue what you want, and you
Right.
expecting somebody to satisfy
So
your
you
hunger.
telling me these X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
and then it turns to A, B, C. It turns into the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out what makes you happy through me just liking you and willing to do whatever it takes to make you happy, and I'm burning myself out.
And two things I want to say. One being, you spoke to the appreciation thing. I'm so happy you said that. Just because somebody's doing it, that's what they should be doing. You still make them feel appreciated, because at the end of the day, that's like if I say thank you. Like, yeah, I should say thank you, but you should still say you're welcome. It's
Right.
common courtesy.
Right.
And people don't think like that. They think like, oh, just like, all right, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, no, say thank you, say please, say excuse me. It's
like
common manners. You know what I'm saying?
making somebody, people don't even realize that making somebody feel appreciated and you operating from this place of gratitude makes
They
me
gonna
doing
do more.
I'm going to want to do
But
more for
I'm
you.
going to splurge. The more appreciation I receive for the things I do, I'm going crazier because I want that feeling
Right.
And
I just pull back when I don't feel appreciated.
every time. And I hate that we time restricted today. I hate it because this conversation getting amazing. But I gotta ask you this question before we cut to another commercial, and I know that you gotta take off. And I'm sad. It's sad.
Don't be sad.
I'm sad. There's nothing you can do. I'm sad. I'm sad. But we'll pick it up.
Right.
We already talked about potentially doing a part 2. But I want to know, and you never even asked me a question, and I'm gonna give you the time to do that before you leave.
Okay.
My last question for you would be,
I did ask a question with you dating, the pressure.
You sent me my question back, but
Okay.
I want to know what is something that people may not know about you that you wouldn't mind sharing here on the couch.
That they may not know about me?
Yeah, because I know you're super transparent, but you know.
Wow, right. I'm super
You're super transparent, so I need you to dig deep.
Outside of the fact that I'm not super social, I feel like that's the biggest thing.
People don't know that. Yeah.
Super socially awkward, like, this was my social life. This is going to cover me for the rest of the week, okay? Me still, like we talked about, me still being nervous with the...
On the before you perform.
Right.
Quickly, one time me and Maui was at a school together, she was performing and one of my artists was performing. And right before it, she was like extremely nervous. Mind you, like I've seen Maui perform live, but I've never seen her nervous. And she's like, no, I don't need to do this. Like I'm nervous, I need a chair, I need to sit down. I'm like, girl, if you don't go out there and do it, but and she went out there and killed it.
Right, but I don't care. I'm just going to be scared.
Yeah.
And I still have not stood up and did a poem.
You still sit down to this day.
Yes, they have my stool ready. I'm going to do what I need to do to be comfortable.
Oh
and
man, I love it.
It's sit down. So that's definitely me not wanting to be around a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Me being nervous every time I perform.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the main thing that they probably didn't know, and now they probably replaying every time they see me perform.
Like, yo, she was sitting down.
In every city.
Yeah.
In the bar school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just never walking around the stage, and I admire so many people that just walking back and forth with the mic and holding it. I need a mic stand too. I won't even touch it.
Yeah.
So they put on these big performances, and I'm just like, wow.
But I've seen your growth, and I know we gotta wrap up because I know you gotta get back to mom duties, and I definitely respect that. But I've really seen your growth, even in how you control the crowd, like literally how you engage with them, like you treat them like they just your cousins.
Right.
Even that how you do your live, in your podcast too. Now I'm not a huge podcast person, but the clips and stuff I caught, I'm like, all right, she in her element. Like I can feel it, and I can see why so many people gravitate to you, because it's like, I feel like my cousin I never met.
Right.
And like, I already had a relationship with you, so it's like, I know you, so it's like, I'm like, all right, but seeing you do it on your platform, it makes me feel I feel like I can feel how I feel. It's like they got that connection, like, yo, I know her, if I see her, I can have a conversation with her because she's being open and transparent, and you busting jokes, and you're not acting like shit just a fairy tale, you like giving it to them raw, so I want to commend you for that. And I'm proud of you, you're a 4-time author, you know what I'm saying, and like, literally like, you started off as a poet. I don't know what came first, writing or poetry, but I met you as a poet.
Right.
When you did my bar, when I had promoting the bar, you came and you told poetry at the bar at one time, and that was like
and I
6 years ago.
And I was sitting down.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like Valentine's Day.
But now seeing like where you were able to elevate to, like, it's amazing, and I admire that, and I aspire to have 4 books out. So I gotta give you your flowers.
I want to give you your flowers too, because when I met you, you might have been rapping.
Yeah, I was.
You might have been rapping. I didn't meet the one on the show, the YouTube series. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
But I knew that everybody would be like, he used to have a show. I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah.
But the rapping version, one thing I would commend you on is the always continue to push yourself higher and do more.
Yeah.
It ain't never been a time where I've been like, dang, what happened to him? Where you been at?
Yeah.
You are going to keep up and going to keep pushing yourself.
Appreciate that.
Especially with the reading.
Yeah.
Like, even with having conversations with you, even with the conversations that you have with other people, I can tell how much self-work that you did, how much reading you've done, how much, like, you give them good quality content because of all the work that you did with yourself.
100%,
so
I appreciate that.
Right, so you're able to fill our cups.
Oh, man, well, when we come back, we're going to wrap up because Maui has to get back to her motherly duties, and y'all know we respect a good, loving, nurturing mother. So don't go nowhere. We're going to cut to a quick commercial, and then we're going to wrap it up with Maui. So I'll see y'all next one. Before we cut to a commercial break, we thought we was ready to end, but we was granted a couple more minutes.
Okay.
I won't say how many. I did already, but whatever. So when we was all set in between the commercial breaks, you had a question for me.
Right.
So I got to open the floor. What's up?
So one thing I want to know, just like what you talked about, the difference from my 8-year span.
Yeah.
Based on the qualities that you would look for in a woman, when you first were dating, to now that you give advice, like you're accountable, you worked on yourself.
Yeah.
Let the ladies know some of the wonderful qualities that you look for when you date now.
First and foremost, for me, I feel like it always comes down to like a woman knowing herself, right? Okay. That's first and foremost, because like I feel like if she know herself, then she'll know why she would deal with me. You know what I mean? And then it comes down to like her, because knowing yourself allows you to be honest with yourself. And to be honest with yourself, you'll be honest with me. But if you lie to yourself, you can never tell me the truth. So I feel like that's really, really key. And then, of course, like it comes down to the vibe. I'm big on connections, right? And when I say that, it's like connections look different. Like it ain't no one dynamic to a connection. But as I'm meeting more and more women, it really comes down to like how are they healed? Are they healing? Like are they doing their self work? Are they taking accountability within themselves? Like what's their perspective on men? Right? Because like am I starting behind the 8 ball? Like where I gotta sit here and give them reparations for what the last nigga did? And no, seriously, though, I feel like they really be putting us behind the 8 ball. Or are they already meeting me at a point where they kind of ready for somebody like me? Because I want to, pour into them as much as I would. Like, I want it to be reciprocal. I also go through the process of trying to figure out if they'd be a good parent, a good like mom to my daughter. Because like I'm not just looking for a girlfriend when I'm being that intentional. I'm looking for a wife. Right. And what that look like. Do we got the same values, family structure? See, because I feel like wifey material is wifey material to a man. Like we all look I feel like if you got 50 men in a room together and we describe wifey material,
Right.
I feel like we can all agree.
Right.
But what that thing identifies as for each individual man comes down to his character and his personality. So from a personality standpoint, I just feel like we would have to connect in those ways as well. Like I don't want it to be a dog situation, and I want it to be somebody I can teach and learn from.
Okay.
So like just being big on working on yourself and really just like us growing together. You know what I'm saying? Does that answer your question, or you feel like I need to dig a little
I do,
deeper?
but I feel like those, even though you said it was specific for you, I feel like a lot of men probably appreciate those qualities. Do you feel like it's pressure on you to have something serious or do something serious and not be casual? Like if you met a girl and she let you know, like this is just gonna be a one night thing.
It's crazy because like for a while it was like that, right?
Okay.
But like I feel like the last 4 or 5 years, because I wanted a girlfriend.
Right.
Like, I wanted because I'm like, yo, I want my family. I want to build my foundation.
Right.
So like I kind of was, of course, I'm a man. Like I'm not gonna turn down nothing casual, but I wasn't gonna spend too much time there
Right.
because I'm like I could be blocking
I'm glad you was honest about it. Right.
Yeah. I ain't turning down nothing casual, but I wasn't there. But now I'm in a different space, so it's like, nah, like I'm actually like. Somebody would have to make me fall in love. Like a woman would have to make me fall in love with her for me to be. I'm not coming into it. I was interviewing every girl as a potential wife,
Right.
and that's a cool process. But some of them wasn't even supposed to make it to that point,
Right.
and I had to realize that. So now I be just like meeting people where they at. Like you said,
Right. To the casual woman, are you judging them about by? Okay.
I'd rather a woman be honest.
You know where I was going with this?
Am I judging them for just wanting to?
Wanting to do what they want to do.
No, you know how many girls approach me on that? Like,
Right.
But I used to be like, I ain't even about to waste your time.
Right.
But now I told myself I'm not about to deprive a woman of the opportunity to experience me.
Right.
That's
Oh,
selfish.
okay. Right.
No, it's not.
Could you see yourself in a relationship or?
With a casual woman?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Is it, like, can it get to that? Yeah, because like, yo, believe it or not, most men fall for the casual. Like the women, I had a girl one time I came at her and she was like, I felt like she was trying to force me into like some serious stuff, like, and it turned me off. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like it wasn't even organic. It was just like I felt like she was reading a relationship book and was trying to like have a playbook.
It's been 90 days.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, this ain't cool. This ain't the play.
Right.
So sometimes the casual will get you in the door because it's just about how you respect yourself.
Hold on now. Let's not just tell them to go out there and be casual though.
All right, so because you're right. I'm not saying just go have sex just to do it. I'm saying do what makes you happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you do what makes you happy, that'll ultimately bring you closer to the person that'll make you happy.
Right.
And that was something that I feel like people should know too, because a lot of people hold on to people for selfish reasons,
Right.
and they're not even happy. But they still worry about that person being happy without them, that they just tamper on themselves. But it's like, yo, let her go.
And you literally are really torturing
You're
yourself.
torturing. It's literally like you're literally.
This person doesn't treat you good, and you don't want to feel like
Self-inflicted pain.
you don't want to feel like they're going to be happy with
Yes,
somebody else, and you
yes.
invested so much time, so you'll stay and just keep torturing yourself.
But it's crazy because I also want to cap off that question. I'm sitting here dissecting it, and I'm like, I'm really at a space right now where I'm really just dating. And I'm not saying date to date, but I'm just like really just saying where God. I be praying a lot. Like I'm saved. You know what I'm saying? So I really just be like, I'm letting God guide all of my steps. Like I promise you, like that's how I feel about it. Where before I would try to control the outcome. Me feeling like I had to get it right. I'm like, I can't pick nothing. There's a lot of pressure, but I removed that pressure because we're relationship authors and people that give advice. We are allowed grace too.
Right.
So like we can break up, we can mess up. Like we don't have to be perfect as long as we grow.
Right.
And that's all we tell people to do. We've never told nobody to be perfect. I've never seen you get in there and like be perfect. You just be like, work on yourself.
Work on yourself. What did you learn?
What did you learn?
Because if I get my heart broken, I'm going to drop another book, and I'm going to tell them what I learned.
Shit, we fired.
And I'm going to put all the pieces in the book.
If I'm gonna tell you my second title of my book cover, you'll probably be like, this nigga is freaky.
I felt like you was crazy when you dropped the first
I
time.
knew, yeah.
Oh, okay. This makes sense, though. Okay.
Yeah. But people often misinterpret my book is really a guide to communication and understanding. It's not even really solely about cheating. You know what I mean? I just felt like that was just to start the conversation.
Right.
But now we got to finish the conversation. Like even this conversation, being a conversation, adds to our books because the content in there is about forgiveness and just being more understanding and learning how to even understand yourself to be more understood.
Right.
So it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? I just challenge people to have that conversation about what is cheating.
Right.
Like when you met your partner, did you sit down with him and say, this is what I consider to be cheating? What do you consider to be cheating, or did you assume that he knew?
I just assumed that he knew, but I also operate from a place that I don't have this expectation of perfection from people.
Yeah.
Like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I understand that we're all humans, and some people make more careless decisions than others and stuff like that.
And for me, I wanted to challenge people from the beginning because it's like, I don't know what you think cheating is.
Right.
And you don't know what I think cheating is.
Right.
So we are assuming that we agree on what it is.
We've had conversations about this 100%.
Yeah, us.
Whereas though it's been times where he's been like, you consider that cheating?
Is that?
Yes, that is emotional cheating. These are the different levels of it. He's just looking like.
But the crazy thing is, I feel like a lot with women and men is like we really see things differently. And so many women want men to think how women think, and men want women to think how men think. But I don't think it should be like that. I think we should just understand how each other think.
Right.
Like I should respect that you communicate through your emotions at times because you're a woman. You should expect that I might come from a logical, more rational standpoint when you want me to feel where you're coming from, and we should understand that and not try to switch each other.
Right.
But people communicate at a level of just wanting to be understood and not be understanding. But if you know, like, all right, like he said, like you consider that cheating, you're like, yeah, this is emotional cheating. But it's things that we might not be okay with that y'all do. Like, I feel like no man really, women entertain attention all day. Don't look at it as a problem.
And no, but listen, when we were on the phone the other day, we were talking about how you can elevate your woman.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you elevate your woman, then how she's not super excited to entertain people or somebody say good morning.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you make your woman feel good every single day.
Yeah.
Now when these men bring their woman so low emotionally and she goes and she's entertained and she's so excited because somebody's giving her a compliment, it's because of how invisible you make her feel.
You put and we talked about, like you said, elevating your man though, because it's like if you elevate a man, he won't be so prone to these low value experiences.
Right.
Like he ain't looking to just go. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, men is men, and I'm not gonna sit here and make it look like, because I feel like the women been thinking a code to stopping a man from doing what a man does is going to be trying to fulfill all of his needs, but it ain't about fulfilling nobody's all. It's about, if I'm giving my best and presenting myself to my woman, then it's less likely that this man can get her attention. And it's the same thing. Right. It's less likely that he's going to be out here trying to, because if you leave us empty in our, fulfilled sexually and full, food-wise, that's less for a man to go out and, be that curious. Like if I nut it every single morning and every single night, I ain't got time to really.
The only thing is, like, with the cheaters, what I just can't respect is, if it was something I wasn't doing, and your desire was to make this work with me, why you never told me?
No, Maui, it's never something you're not doing. Sometimes men just cheat for sport.
Okay.
It's not saying that it's okay, but you gotta understand the man's nature. Some men are in that phase where they're still living through lust. That ain't your fault. So you trying to rise to this man's occasions to be better. It's like, we never asked our women to be our all. A man might ask you for 4 things. The other 6, he might find his way to get it. And it might not have nothing to do with sex. It could be, I don't need you to wash my clothes, I'll get a maid. I don't need you to do this, I'll get that. And women, I watch women get jealous over a game.
Like a video game?
Yes.
100%.
So it's like, I want you to entertain me like you entertain that game. It's like, you follow what I'm saying though? So it's like, it ain't, y'all drain yourselves, and I'm gonna speak to you like, it's draining for a woman to try to be, it's draining for anybody to try to be somebody's all.
Right.
And they ain't even asking for that.
Right.
Man, just want, y'all want my girl to just cook for me, do that, make me happy, rub my back. Everything else you added into the package. This man did not pay for premium. He asked for basic.
Before I would be cooking all the time. One time I ain't cook, I picked up, he did not care, I ordered food. And I'm like, I don't gotta cook every day.
So I just wanted to say that to even for the women out here, because I know, like, again, now we time restricted. But I know that for the women out here that thinks like that, they feel like, all right, if I do more for him, is a less chance of him cheating. I'm telling you, it really has to do where that man is at in his life. Some men, they're gonna do, women too, men too, but some men are focused on their goals, where they're cheating on you with their careers.
Right.
They ain't got time for you because they focused on their business. It ain't always, like you might meet a man who never had a chick before, and then he got you, and then he get more chicks, and then he just slinging it everywhere. Like, these are 2 different types of men.
I definitely feel like before being in a relationship, I didn't want to be in one because I felt like I would be cheating on my career and what I love to do.
So you understand.
I didn't want to be accountable for nobody's feelings. I didn't want to hear it, and it would make me cringe even thinking about somebody saying, you've been up all night working, like you don't do nothing together. And I'm just like, ew, are you trying to?
Yes, you're trying to come in between me and
you're trying to come in between what I love to do.
But there's nothing wrong with that though. That's actually the right way to go about it, because it was times where I heard, like, women used to say to me, I don't think I can give you what you require. And I was like, what do I require? Like, I'm not even asking for much. But that's basically what you're saying to a man. Like, I don't have time to give you what you require.
Right.
So I'm just not, unless you cool with my time.
Right. And I tell people all the time, the way I got in a relationship, one day he was like, you want me to come over and help you pack some orders? I'm like, you know what? Actually, you can come on over and help me. And he would pack orders with me. He would find his way into helping me do what I love to do, and not trying to say, you're not making time for me, we don't do nothing together.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you one last question before I let you go, because I took so much of your time, and I love you forever for this. Why do women cheat?
let me tell you something. Just like you said, y'all cheat for a sport and y'all cheat for whatever I go out and go get from somebody else, I beg you to do it, okay?
So you cheat because we're men and lacking.
You forced me to go cheat, actually, and it's actually your fault that I went on here. 100%.
And you know what's crazy? Because she's 100% serious when she makes that statement. But she know damn well that ain't the truth.
Listen, outside of some people that may not be getting sexually fulfilled, 9 times out of 10 when men say, all she do is nag, all she do is complain, listen, those are literally warning shots because she doesn't want to go out there and find somebody.
No, that's understandable.
Right, she's begging to get these qualities.
Yeah, if she's not nagging you, she's definitely nagging something else.
Right.
Yeah,
you should actually be afraid when she's not nagging.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
I'm begging for you to give me these qualities.
But it's still not a man's fault. And you know what's crazy? Because people do, society, I know you're joking,
right.
but society really does think like that. They really do think that it's, because it'd be like, I'd be like, if I cheat, I'm the bad guy, and if I get cheated on, I'm still the bad guy, because whatever I was cheating on for whatever I wasn't doing.
Right.
But it's like, that goes to y'all wanting to be 100 for a man, and I'm not talking about 100% effort, I'm talking about like trying to fulfill everything, even when it's not required, and then trying to put that on the man.
Right.
Like, I feel like y'all set y'all standard and then try to put it on the man, like, this is what I want you to be for me. And they're like, no, let y'all want a man, let a man be a man.
Right.
And if y'all going to cheat, take accountability. It ain't our fault, because sometimes a man can be trying to do his all for a woman, and it's just not enough.
Right.
And that's why I've said to you on live, sometimes we're going to be too much for somebody, sometimes we're going to be not enough.
Right.
Even instances, nobody's wrong.
Right.
So I'm not letting nobody in the audience think that y'all getting away with that. I couldn't let, because they would crucify
There we
me.
go. See?
Like, you let Maui come on the couch and say, nah, but listen,
Right.
it was a pleasure to have you, Maui. I hope that we can really finish this discussion, because like, I feel like it was needed, and I feel like I had fun. You had fun?
I had a lot of fun.
No, I had fun. And yeah, make sure you tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find your books, poems, and everything.
Okay, y'all can follow me on everything. It's the same name. Maui, MAUI_W. Yeah, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter,
The podcast.
TikTok. And my podcast is called Self Care and Chill with Maui.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind the raw advice of somebody who's telling you what to do and what not to do, then you would definitely probably love the podcast.
So make sure y'all go check out all 4 of her books and tap in, you know what I mean? Again, it's an honor to have you. I hope we can collab on something. I think it'd be dope, whatever that might look like. I think we gotta create a great dynamic. And yeah, we can just continue these discussions, continue to encourage people to do work.
Right, I love this.
Yeah, so y'all had Maui here. You know what I mean? I know y'all been asking for it, y'all been begging, y'all always asking when you and Maui gonna do something, so we finally got her down to the couch. So, don't touch that, because we got another segment coming up, and yeah, don't go nowhere.
Today you discussed standards. For a female that's watching, where should she start with being clear about her standards when dating?
I think when you're clear about your standards, whether you're a male or a woman within yourself, they are identified without even having to verbalize them, because it'll show up in the way you carry yourself. So when you carry yourself to a certain standard, you don't have to negotiate nor articulate that, because it's understood. For instance, if you take yourself to fine restaurants for just like, happy hour and brunch and lunch, and this is not even an experience to you, that's not something that you have to request on a date, because you will meet people at that tier by just where you interact and where you put yourself. I think that, and that's actually just a metaphor and an analogy for how you should show up within yourself. So you already loving yourself, caring for yourself, and presenting yourself in a way, you won't even attract a man that's going to test those standards, because it comes with boundaries. Those boundaries are invisible, but they're there, because as men, and I'm speaking to the women when I say this, a man will rule himself out. But if a man thinks he can get you and treat you a certain way, it's definitely because of how you presented yourself. So if you want to present yourself to a standard that would make you get an elevated experience from a man, then that comes down to how you love yourself, how you care for yourself, and how you treat yourself. And if a man see that and he's not matching that energy, then that's a direct sign that it's not supposed to work. And the same thing goes for men when they dealing with women. When you present yourself in of a higher level, you're going to attract women at that level. So just understand that when you're thinking about your standard. A standard is who you are. An expectation is who you want other people to be. Focus on raising your standards by raising up yourself. The wolf has spoken. What's going on is the Wolf, and I hope you guys enjoyed that very special episode of The Couch. So now I want y'all to take this time to like, subscribe, and comment. But don't just comment a regular comment. I want y'all to engage. If you have any questions that you want answered, I would like y'all to put it in the comments. If you have anything that you feel like you learned, I would like you to put it in the comments. If you got something else that you would like us to discuss, put it in the comments. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, wolfnetworkwse. And stay tuned because we got so much more coming, and there's going to be so much more valuable information for you to gain on a weekly basis. Keep tapping out, man.